Everyone was very somber when the Zamboni surfaced. It was blue and had the name Olympia written on its side, and it felt like an appearance from a Greek god. I went back to the machine and put another quarter and a dime in the slot and got another bag of Fritos, making sure I still had a dime left to try calling my dad collect again. I sucked the salt off of each Frito and finished them with the last of my Coke. There was a table covered with lost and found items, and I went to see if any of them might be nesters, but they all smelled pretty bad, so I didn't spend too much time looking for name tags. I took a puck and picked up a pair of skates, went back to the bleachers, and slid them onto my bare feet. There were a lot of socks on the table, but there was no way I was going to touch them. I laced the skates as tightly as I could, took the yellow terry cloth tea cozies off the blades, and stepped onto the ice. I knew this was stupid. If I broke my leg, no one would find me. These were hockey skates, which were almost impossible to skate in. I bent my knees and leaned forward and started by marching the way Nestor had shown me. Then I began to glide. I skated all the way around the rink, sticking pretty closely to the wall. My ankles ached. I skated to the exact center and stood there for a few minutes, looking over to where I would normally be sitting top row center. If I hadn't been kicked off the bus and been abandoned here, I never would have gotten to know this feeling of standing all alone in the middle of the rink with my arms spread out and my head thrown back. That's how life always was. Something good could happen. I skated cautiously back to the rink door and stepped onto solid ground. I returned the skates to the table and tried calling collect one more time, but my dad wasn't home. He was probably frantically trying to figure out what to do, or maybe even driving up to get me. The bus I should have stayed on was already there, the kids on it already lying on their own beds, watching their own TVs. Nadim Adam had already boarded his flight to Istanbul. I went down to the lake because the lifeguards kept flavored ices that came in long plastic tubes in a big styrofoam cooler in the boathouse. But the cooler was empty. I would have killed for one of those ices. I went back to the hill where I had left my bags and sat down next to them. I had to decide what to do. I could wait to see if my father came to get me. The rule if you were lost was stay put. But if he thought my mother was coming, he wouldn't know anything was wrong. I could hitchhike to the Red Lion Inn, or all the way to New York. I had never hitchhiked before, and I knew it was dangerous. I would have to leave my duffel bags because there was no way I could carry them. I had to make a decision before it got dark. I lay back on the grassy hill and closed my eyes. I opened them to find my mother standing over me. Her hair was longer and blonder, and she looked very thin and good. Her legs were tanned, and her top was see-through, of course. "Come on," she said. "Get in the truck. I can't wait for you to meet Borislav." I didn't know which was more horrifying, the word truck or the word Borislav. "Do you want to see my bunk in the main stage theater?" I asked. "In the lake?" My mother inexplicably loved lakes. As soon as I said it, I regretted it, because my mother was probably going to attempt to skinny dip. "Actually, I just remembered we're not allowed in the lake," I said. "We really have to get on the road," she said.